Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I thought it would be really fun to do a video about some recent board games that I've been playing that are probably not new, but they're new to me. As you may or may not know, my roommates are super into board games, and since living here, I have also gotten into board games. So these are games that are new to me, that I've been playing a lot recently, and that I've played at least twice. So let's get started. So my family got this game for me for Christmas, and I don't know why they picked it out, but I'm glad they did because it ended up being really fun. The gameplay is pretty easy. You're trying to get your wagon from one end of the board to the other with a minimum amount of casualties as possible, and the person with the most money wins. So it's pretty straightforward. That being said, I have yet to play this game correctly. Both my family and my roommates, we fucked up in different ways, drastically different ways, but it was still really fun. Like I said, it's pretty easy. It's kind of like Carcassonne, where you have a bunch of little tiles and they're kind of the different landscapes or towns or areas that you can go to, and you flip those over. And you're trying to get food and make money, but you also have to buy things like guns or winter supplies. And my favorite part of the gameplay is when you go hunting, because a player will have a card and will have an animal with the amount of meat you get and then a number value, and you on your board make a random guess. I like how bright and colorful it is. It's a very aesthetically pleasing game, for me anyway, because there is so much color in it. Not super interactive. I mean, you're all competing against each other, but you're more just kind of doing your own thing. You can't really screw someone else over, and they can't really screw you over. And of course, because it's Oregon Trails, you have these calamity cards, and sometimes they're great things, like, oh, you get free medicine or something like that. Or sometimes they're a bad thing, like you have malaria. You can only cure it if you have medicine or you reach a town by the end of your turn. But sometimes it's just like, oh, you get dysentery and one of your family members dies, and there's just nothing you can do about it in the classic Oregon Trail manner. So far, it's been super fun, and it's a game that I am pretty much down to play whenever. Heavy, oh my God. Okay, whew, here we go. So this is Scythe. I can't hold it very long. This is a heavy, heavy game. Oh my goodness. So if you're into board games, you've probably heard of this. Sounds like it made a pretty big splash, and for good reason. My roommate got this for his birthday in May. So that was the first time he played it after watching a 40-minute tutorial on how to play, which I'll link down below because it's actually extremely useful if you haven't played Scythe before, or it's been a while since you play. I always rewatch this and it helps me out. So I played this game 3 times, and the first time I played it, I really, really didn't like it. So the thing about Scythe is that there's a ton of rules. There's a ton of actions you can take. There's a lot of things to keep in mind just for yourself, not even including what other people can do, because your boards are slightly different. Everyone kind of has a special, I don't even want to say ability, but advantage. And there's just a ton of different aspects of the game to keep in mind. And it's one where, I mean, sometimes you know who's ahead, but until the very end of the game, when you're all counting up your coins, it's hard to say who the winner is just by looking at it. It's a pretty much pure strategy game. There's really no luck involved. So once you understand the gameplay, then it can be really fun. And the more that I've played, because my roommates are playing it too, so because we've all played it multiple times, it is getting really interesting because now we're able to focus less on ourselves and just trying to understand our pieces and what we're doing, and kind of looking at the bigger picture. Because the first time I played, seriously, just understanding the mechanics was a struggle. But once you get those more under control, it does start to get really complicated and layered, and there's all these different ways you can earn more points. It's a really fun game. Isn't the easiest thing to whip out like on a game night with friends, unless those friends have also played it before. We found our last game night, we did play this, but we doubled up, so like one of the people who have never played before played with me, which I think made it easier on everyone. And I also love the work and craftsmanship that have gone into the little pieces. They're just beautiful and they're so much fun to look at. I love games that are very aesthetically pleasing or have a lot of work going into the aesthetics of it, and Scythe definitely does that. Sometimes the board itself feels a little muddied to me, but that might just be more of a me thing. My roommate just ordered an expansion pack, so it's gonna come with 2 new characters, so that will be fun. Because we noticed that one of the characters, the lady with the tiger, she is way overpowered compared to everybody else. So by getting these new characters, I think we're just gonna like set her aside so no one can play her, or maybe only new people can play her, because yeah, she's ridiculous. I have a little bit of an anxiety attack every time I play, because you're just constantly thinking ahead 2, 3, 4 moves, but then you also know that that's what everyone else is doing, and once you start interacting with the other players on your game, oh my gosh, it just makes me so nervous. But it's really fun. It can take a while to play. I think averages around 2 hours, I want to say. Definitely worth the hype. Love this game. Okay, this is gonna look like a little kid game in comparison, because it kind of is. But oh my gosh, it's called Suspicion, and my roommate got it from Target, and I love this game. It's such a good, like, you're playing with people who don't generally game. It's a really easy game, and it's one where there's a lot of different characters and identities. You don't know what everyone else's identity is, and through different clues on the board, you slowly start to figure out to whittle down who you think everyone's character is, which I love. Is it the most exciting or intense or clever game? No, but it's really easy to pick up on, and typical game is like 20 minutes. So it's one that's like fast, it's easy, that's super cute, because there's all these little women and there's little gems and they're all thieves, and it's a delightfully cute game. And I personally am really into any games that involved hiding your identity or guessing other people's identities. I love things like that. Is this the best one? No. I prefer Coup, I prefer Resistance, I prefer Werewolf than to something like this, because those games involve more lying and deception, where there is a little bit with this, but I wouldn't say it's as interactive as those games. I think if you have older kids, this would probably be a hit with them too. So take that as you may. Okay, and the last game I do not own because a friend actually brought it, but I'll probably insert a picture here, and that is 7 Wonders. So this is a deck building game, and you're kind of collecting, resources and victory points and cards with special abilities, and there's multiple rounds. But the really cool thing about it is you start off with 7 cards, you play your card, and then you pass it, and depending on what round it is, you're passing it to your left or to your right, so you don't keep your cards. And then a lot of cards, like the type of resources you can get, depends on what the players to your right and left to you have. We played with 6 people, which was perfect, and you have to rely so heavily on what your neighbors have. So not anybody across from you, but directly to your left or right. So it's pretty interactive. I love the look of it because it's like 7 Wonders. So there's a lot of ancient Greek and Egyptian, Alexandria, and just really beautiful places, basically. And it was so easy to pick up too. The first round took us maybe 30 minutes. The second round maybe took us 15. Like, we were like zooming through it, and it was really fun. You just want to have the most points by the end of it, basically. But it's not straightforward how you can get those points, and because the cards are always changing, you may have a strategy with your first round, but then it could all go downhill with your second round, because it depends on the type of cards you get and what kind of resources your partners next to you have. There is luck involved, there is a little bit of strategy, but it's also very interactive, which I really like with a game like this. So Seven Wonders turned out to be a huge hit. I really want that game. Super fun, pretty straightforward, but each game is so drastically different. Ooh, actually, yeah, oh my gosh. We hung up on the fridge our scorecards from the games, and the first time we played, I got second, and then the second time I played, I got last, which, you know, ugh. But I played a similar strategy with what I did for the first round, and then obviously it didn't end up working out for me. So you have to kind of go with the cards that you're given, and there's different ways you can stack your decks, which will reveal different points, and the boards are two-sided. It's really cool. Highly recommend that one. So those are the games that I've been playing recently that I am a big fan of. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my content. Leave a comment down below if you've played any of these games or if you have any game recommendations, because I'm always down. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.